Hi, how are you? Today we're going to paint a simple still life with fruit using just primary colors plus white in acrylic. So I have here set up my styrofoam plate palette, which is great because it's just simple and disposable and cost effective. Just white, a nice bright primary yellow, a nice bright red, and phthalo blue, which is a great color for mixing. It makes a wonderful green here. I've set up a composition of fruit here, so you can pick fruit that are a variety of colors, sizes, and shapes to make an interesting composition. Arrange them how you like, and how we're going to start is just by sketching on your arrangements on your canvas. And you can do this with graphite pencil. I'm going to sketch it on right with paint. You can draw with paint, which is a lot of fun and challenges both your drawing skills and your painting skills. And I'm using a blue just so I can see it really nicely against the white canvas. And just reduce what you see just to the basic shapes here. The tip of the banana sticks up even more than the grapefruit. It's pretty tall when I have it leaning up like that. Curves around like so. And it's going to connect this way, but I have a line here in front and an apple here. Okay, so once you've completed your sketch, you're ready to fill in your shapes with some colors, and we're just going to use the primary colors only to start with. We're not going to do any mixing just yet, and we're going to fill it in with just blocks of color using dabs of paint with a wide flat brush. I'm going to use my wider one here. I've just got these two flat brushes that I'm going to use for our project today. I'm going to use the wider one of the two, and it's a number 16 Curry's brand synthetic brush. It tends to be easier if you work light to dark, so I'm going to start with the yellow and just fill in. You can use long strokes for the large areas if you want to, but if you just want to do kind of rectangles using dabs like that, that's all you need to do, and fill in the main areas there. Now I can see where there's some green in my banana, but I'm going to just color it yellow for now. And you can mix it with white too to make a brighter yellow for some areas and make more of a pastel color, or just use the plain yellow as it comes out of the jar or the tube. There's my grapefruit there. It's more orangey, but I'm going to start with the yellow. It's okay to leave little bits and pieces of the white of the canvas showing too. You don't always have to cover every little piece. If you leave some of the white of the canvas showing, it adds interest to your painting actually. And especially for this project, we're just doing kind of a color mixing study, so it can be just loose and sketchy. Don't get too hung up on details for this piece. Oh, there goes my brush. Went flying into the bucket of brushes. And here's my line here. So the next color I'm going to do, you can just leave the yellow on your brush if you want, and then just go to the red. It's not a lot of red, just here, mostly on this Red Delicious apple here. Now when you do something like an apple, it's rounded and it also has those streaks on it, so your brush can travel in the direction of the curves and in the direction of those streaks, like this. Okay, so you'll already see it naturally start to blend with the yellow that's wet underneath it there and make an orange. And just go round and round like that. If you want to do some strokes going the other way too, that's okay. Oh, I've got some on my banana, but that's okay because actually the banana would reflect some of the red of the apple, wouldn't it? And the grapefruit's going to be orange, but I'm going to start with red here. And then I'll do it, make an orange and make a transition color there. So I know I'm going fast here for the sake of the video, but please feel free to take your time. Take your time with this and do it a little more neat and tidy than I am. Alright, so next you can wash your brush out if you want, and then we'll do blue. Now I know there's no blue on here except for the background, but the lime is going to be green, so we're going to do some blue just to give it sort of a base coat of blue. Oops, I got too much on there. I'm not mixing it with white. I'm just going to let it be this bright, bright blue as it came out of the jar here. I can leave some of the white just showing, I mean not white, yellow. Like that. I'm going to do blue background. I've got a blue mat board sitting here under my fruit. So I'm going to fill in the backgrounds with the blue. And maybe I'll mix it with a little bit of white just to spread it. And actually I'll mix it with some water too, just to do a quick wash of color here. And this is just the base layer, so don't worry if it's not perfect here. We're just going to get some color down. And I'm not going to worry about shadows too. I can see shadows on the ground. I'm going to water down that paint a little bit further. You can water down acrylic paint and use watercolor techniques with it, which is really, really neat. And you can also use it thicker, just the way it comes out of the tube, and use oil paint techniques as well. And you can mix it with white and apply it thickly just like you would with oil paint. So I like using acrylic because it's so versatile that way. You can do so much with it. But it does dry fast, so you tend to get a choppier look with acrylic paint. It's harder to get smooth blends than it is with oil, which has a slower drying time, so you have more time to work with it. And with watercolor too, you can use the water to allow one color to flow into another. Okay, so I filled this in. I know I haven't gone right to the edges, but we'll tidy that up later on. Okay. So next we're going to do orange. I'm going to go to, I'll go to my smaller brush here, and I'm going to mix an orange. So when we mix a color, start with the lighter one. So I'm going to take a pile of yellow here, and then I'm going to mix the darker color into it so that the darker color doesn't take over, and just grab a little bit of red and then make just a little bit at a time like that. So you want kind of a middle orange right in between yellow, right in between the yellow and the red, not too red, not too orange, maybe not too yellow. Alright, and then I'm going to look at my still life here, and wherever I see orange, I'm going to add some of the orange. So the grapefruit has flecks of reddish orange in it, so I'm going to use this here. Now there's the light shining on the grapefruit there, so I want to leave that really bright. There's the highlight area there, around about here, so I'm going to leave that whitish yellow color that it was. So I'm just still doing dabs, almost like stippling, but with little squares or rectangles with this flat brush, round and round like so. And if you spill out over into the blue, that's okay. We can always tidy up the edges later, but really we're just doing a quick kind of impressionist painting, so we're not going to get too hung up on details and crisp edges at this point. You can always come back and add fine details later if you want to give it a more finished type look, but if it's a little bit sketchy and loose, I think that adds to the appeal of a painting like this. Oh, it's picked up some of the blue here. Look at that neat little shadow color it's making there. I'm going to just wipe some of the paints off my brush here. So it's good to keep paper towel, maybe newspaper, newsprint. I've got an old scrap piece of mat board here, so I'm just using that just to wipe the excess off my brush, so I don't have to completely wash it out and clean it each time. Now I'm going to see if there's anywhere else where there might be orange here. Actually, there's a little bit of maybe orange here on the banana, actually, where it's reflecting some of the color from the fruit around it. And then here on the apple too, it's, you know, apples are sometimes kind of yellowish, but this one's kind of got that yellowish orange look here in this area. Remembering to follow the contours and the streaks of the apple. Just keeping it sort of loose and sketchy and a little bit messy. Now here where it dips in, you want to kind of remember where that dip is, that little belly button where the stem's going to come out. Actually, I'm going to sketch in where I'm going to put my stem too. It comes up and then curves around like so. And there's the wider end there. So got my little stem and around it goes like that. Alright, so the next color is green. So we'll start with the yellow again and then mix some blue into it to make green. So this green is very, very bright, isn't it? It's almost like a fluorescent green. So it's brighter green even than the lime, but it makes it kind of fun to exaggerate colors. And see how it kind of comes out thin and you can see the other colors underneath peeking through? That's kind of neat, isn't it? You can just kind of glaze one color over another and the underneath color enhances a little bit and adds depth to that color. Okay, so again, there's kind of light and dark areas and a shine on this lime, so I'm going to leave some areas just lighter like that. There we go. And around like that. There, anywhere else where there's green? Oh yeah, in my banana here. So up top here, I just got this from the grocery store, so it's a little bit green. I'm not quite ready to eat yet, so I'm gonna add some green here. So if you drag the green down, it'll kind of, see how it kind of disappears into the yellow anyway, and makes it transition from green into yellow. We're going to make another transition color to a yellow-green color in a minute. But okay, so a little bit of green on this end too, and then up and around, and it's going to reflect some of the green of the lime in front of it too. So if you want to add some of those colors here in the shadow areas. Alright, so the next secondary color that we're going to work with is purple. And purple, of course, is mixed by starting with red and then adding a little bit of blue into it. When you mix the purple, it never makes like a nice candy purple. It's really kind of a dark purple. Like, it works well as a shadow color. So you can just drag the red and the blue into your mix here until you're happy with that color, and then see where that color is. Now, I know no object is purple in my composition here, but there is purple in the shadow colors, like in the dip here where the apple goes in. So you just want to do sort of a little semicircle like that, and then the stem has kind of a shadow on either side of it too. So if you did that orange stem, you do a little you can do a little fine little edge on either side of it by using the kind of the straight edge of your brush here, and do a shadow on the stem, one side or both, depending on how yours looks. Do you see any other areas where there's purple on your composition? I see some in the shadow here under the apple. There's a bit of a shadow right on the apple here, and you can kind of just pat this color in, bring it up a little bit, or wherever you see the shadow here, so where the apple curves around and goes behind the lime. Like that. Any shadows like that on the other fruits? Not so noticeable, maybe a little bit here. The grapefruit's pretty far in behind, so right in there. And you can use this color actually to add some shadows on the ground too. You can start to fill in the background a little bit more with the shadowing. So my main light source is this lamp here, and then the lights overhead as well. So there's actually multiple shadows. So I'm just going to kind of reduce it to one shadow for simplicity here. There. Something like that, and then a little bit here behind the grapefruit. And a shadow color behind that banana will really make that yellow, the bright yellow of the banana pop out. Make that object come forward against the background. And then the shadow of the banana too, can't forget that, so that kind of comes around like that. And maybe there's a little bit of this purple color actually in the, you know, the blackish area on the tip of a banana, and then there's kind of a bruise or something there, and a little bit up here too, a little bit of that color down like so. Okay, and next we're going to mix our tertiary colors. So let's go back to our orange mix there. let's start with yellow and make a yellow-orange. Okay, so you can stick with the same size brush. We don't need to go any smaller at all in this painting. If you want to add more fine details later or tidy anything up, feel free, but I don't want your painting to look overworked either. Let's just keep it kind of simple for now. So I'm mixing, I started with the yellow, I'm bringing the orange into it to make a yellowish orange, see? Now I'm going to look back at my fruit and see where I might see that color and just add some dabs of that here and there. And this grapefruit really has a speckled look, so if you make your brush travel kind of in speckles and dabs like this, and it goes from light to dark to the light area here where the light's hitting it, and then goes around like that to the darker areas. So use this yellow-orange for the lighter areas. There's a sticker on my banana, I just realized now, and I didn't paint that in, so I'm just going to leave that out. I'm going to put a little bit of orange around the top edge of my banana because it's going to reflect some of the color from the grapefruit there behind it. And a little bit here and there, just to give it kind of an impressionist look where it's all kind of dabs of a variety of colors. They're all kind of mixing optically. Okay, and it's going to reflect some of the red of the apple too, so I'm going to add some orange here on the banana and there. Okay, so now I'm going to add the yellowish orange a little bit here to the apple. Sort of in dabs, but also remembering the contours and the streaks here too. So there we go. So let's see, so I can add a little bit along the edge there. Maybe a little bit down here too. It's really transparent, isn't it? The yellows tend to be very transparent and really show the colors underneath it. So if you want to cover over that red, you'd have to add white first and then a yellow to make it really yellow again. All right, so that's here. Let's add some orange too to this line because it's gonna reflect the colors of the other fruits here around it. So just a little bit of that because we don't want it to get too muddy and brown looking. Okay, so let's do orangish red. Or red orange, I guess, would be what the proper term would be. And then just again dabs of that where you see it there. It's mostly in the apple, I'd say, for that one. Next we have next in the color wheel here we have reddish purple. So here where the shadow colors are really sharp and you want to transition it a little more smoothly into the red, you would add this reddish purple. Red violet or whatever you'd like to call it. Okay. Okay, there you go. Or if you want a more subtle shadow than the purple on its own. Alright, so next in our color wheel we would have a blue violet. So that would be a nice deep color for a shadow. So let's see where you'd want that to be. That would probably be where you want the deepest shadows to be. The most contrast, like the deepest darks next to a bright highlight to really make an object pop forward. So around some of your edges and under the bottoms of some of those fruit to make the fruit kind of really look 3D and pop out. We're not using black, did you notice that? We're going to make our shadow colors just by mixing some of these deep colors. And really kind of have exaggerated color here. Black can sometimes deaden a painting, and the challenge too is in color mixing. And alright, so next in our color wheel we're going to have blue-green, and this is a really fun color. So if you want to keep it dark like that, let's see, I don't see a lot of blue-green in particular, maybe a little bit in the lime. If you want to lighten it up and make it more of a pastel color and bring some of this color into the background, if you want to do that, then your table surface can show a reflection of the colors of the lime. Next is yellow green. Right, so that would be a little bit in the banana, and especially in the lime. Alright, so I think that's probably about it. You can tinker with your background too. Add some reflected colors, so if you want to mix the white and yellow and then just kind of add a little bit of that to your table surface there so it looks like it's reflecting the color, a bit of a reflection of the color of the banana. And the same with the red too, if you want to grab a little bit of red on the brush, just really thinly, just to show some of the color on the table surface here reflecting. Alright, so if you want to take a smaller brush and just tidy up the edges, just add some crispness there, but I really like that loose look of having color outside the lines. So I may just tinker with it a little bit here and tidy up some of the details myself, and then I will show you how it turns out shortly. Thank you very much for watching, and if you try this painting exercise, let me know how it goes. Thank you, and have a great day.